Understanding yourself really helps in healing the fearful avoidant attachment style, and I am always looking for more ways to help you. And so this is not about relationships. This is about work and how you work and the way you work in your work, but it will help you tremendously because as much as we will have to deal with relationships in our life, we also have to probably deal with work or a way to make money and maintain ourselves. And that is what we are going to talk about today, because I see so many fearful avoidants, and I know I have for years worked against what came natural for me. And if I could just turn back time and undo all those hours that I worked and struggled and fought and cried and had mental breakdowns and felt so unworthy and felt like I wasn't doing enough and I wasn't good enough and what was wrong with me and why couldn't I just be like a normal person and work 9 to 5, I would have a lot more hours, but also maybe not learn everything that I have learned. So I don't want to take those hours back, but I do want you to know that you are not crazy, you are not lazy, you are not broken, and I wish somebody would have told me that 10 years ago, 7 years ago. So why working 9 to 5 does not work as a fearful avoidant mainly is because that just assumes that we can work consistently from 9 to 5 and consistently be productive and consistently push out whatever we need to do. Is that even an English way of saying it? Probably not. But a lot of people don't really aren't really suited for the 9 to 5 life, but definitely most fearful avoidants, I would say, have a really hard time with the 9 to 5 because consistency and stability are just not things that come natural to us, having had the childhood that we have and the trauma that we have. So even when you heal, you will be able to be consistent. You will be. You will enjoy stability. So it will be much easier to be in a 9 to 5 job. And there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5 job. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people who thrive in a 9 to 5 job and are able to be consistently productive, and that's amazing. But I don't want you to feel like you're worse or broken or bad or non-functional, dysfunctional just because you don't thrive in that 9 to 5 mentality. Consistency and stability are just not really our thing, and you know what? That is okay. And that doesn't mean that you will be out of work, can't do anything, won't make money for the rest of your life. Absolutely not. Because there's a superpower that comes with it, and we will talk about that at the end of this video. So what I have learned is that I and a lot of other fearful avoidants, this is not usually something I talk about with the people going through my program. So I can't say that for the 1,500 to 2,000 people that have gone through my Dutch and English programs now, that this is the same for everybody, as I can sometimes say that for relationship things, because that's what we talk about a lot. But when it comes to work, I know a lot of fearful avoidants have the same way of working, and that comes through the trauma. It comes through what we've learned through the trauma and how we adapted and how we were trained in a way, and that can still feel better when we've already healed. It can feel more natural. So the way a lot of fearful avoidants actually work the best is with bursts of energy and then a lot of time to rest. And this is the resting part is the part where a lot of fearful avoidants kind of run into some issues, into some resistance, into triggers and core wounds, because they feel like they have to always produce at peak productivity levels. I know this is what I felt like. So just to give you a very concrete example, when I started my business, this business, which I didn't know would become like a genuine business, I just wanted to help people. And of course I wanted to do that full time to help as many people as possible. But that full time would look like me some days just not being able to do anything, wanting to type something like a blog post or an Instagram post or whatever, and I would just not be able to do it, and I would get lost in YouTube and go down that rabbit hole and learn about how slugs in South America live. Just, random stuff, completely random stuff. And then at the end of the day, my boyfriend, then boyfriend, now husband, would come home and would ask, "Hey, honey, how was your day? What did you do?" And I would just break down and cry and tell him I failed and I should have done so much and I didn't do anything, and I would just beat myself up so hard. And then there were days where I would make a list of the things I wanted to do, and I did so many of them. Like, I would write 6 blog posts, I would make several videos, I would do something else. It was like a lot from the time my husband left to the time he came home. And then he would come home, ask me how my day was, and I would tell him all this, and he would be like, "Whoa, that's a lot of work that you did." And I was like, "Yeah, but I wanted to write 10 blog posts, and I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do that, and that I didn't do that, and maybe I should do that tonight, but I'm really tired now." And then he always said, "Okay, but you can rest. It's okay. You can work again tomorrow." And there was just this sense of me not trusting myself that I would be able to do that again. I just always felt lazy. I always felt like I was behind and that I just wasn't doing enough. And so I felt like I had to have these productive days every single day of the week. And if not, then on these productive days, I would have to do even more and more and more. It was never enough. I never did enough. And that was something I did for years before I thought, "Oh, wait, I healed my relationship. Maybe I can heal this." And so I started tapping on all things around, the work. I think that was 3 years in that I started doing that. And it really helped. And that's how I discovered that I have these bursts of energy where I can do so much in 1 day or 2 days or maybe a week, where I'm just now I can do it for a week. I don't think I could do that like 7 to 10 years ago. But now I'm able to sustain that energy for like a week. But then I need almost a week off, pretty much off, just not really doing anything. But in that 1 week, I would make 28 videos. I made 28 videos 2 weeks ago, and write blog posts and do all kinds of things. This is absolutely not to boast in in any way. This feels very uncomfortable. This is just to show you what you can do, because this is you also. You have this too, this ability to have these bursts of energy and just do a lot. And the more you release all the things that are keeping you from just, doing things that come natural to you, where your natural gifts lay, the more you release that, the easier it becomes. So when you try to write 10 blog posts with a lot of resistance and a lot of beliefs that you're not good enough and that people will think you're dumb, or whatever beliefs you have, it will be much harder. And the more beliefs you let go, the easier it becomes to produce content, in my case. But whatever you do, the more easier that becomes. It could be painting paintings. So you have this too. You can do this too. And so that 9 to 5 mentality is based on this belief that people are able to wake up at a forced time and then for 8 hours or 9 hours are consistently productive, while everybody has these ups and downs in energy levels. And for everybody that's different. Men and women are different, but also fearful avoidants are different, usually. And so you just have to find how your energy flow goes. And sometimes I still expect too much from myself, but it's so much easier now to say, "Okay, no, wait, now I'm tired, I'm just gonna rest." There's no resistance to that anymore. I want to help so badly that I just, pushing is not the right word, but I guess I kind of push myself too hard sometimes, try to. But there's no resistance to resting anymore. And that's what a lot of fearful avoidants do have, that they are not allowed to rest. They always have to do more. They always have to work harder. They always have to be better. They always have to, their value is in what they do, the things that they do, instead of them as a person. And I think that was one of the biggest shifts that I made in healing so much around this. Like, I am worthy as I am, and from that comes my work, whatever that is. And so I should take care of myself, because in that way I can be there more for you. And that's what I want. I want to help you. I want to help you feel better and feel free and heal this attachment style. So of course then I have to take care of myself so I can be there in the best way for you, in the best way that fits me. So that was quite a journey to figure out how I work, and now I just love it. I love having these days, and sometimes day or sometimes a week, where I just produce a lot of content, and sometimes I just rest and don't do anything, and I genuinely enjoy that too. And the interesting thing is that during those off weeks or off days that I have, that's when the most interesting insights come. So when I'm making videos or when I'm producing content, that always sounds like so cold in a way, producing content, but like writing stories. I'm just in like a certain headspace, in a certain zone, if you will. But then when I don't do anything and I just live my life, that's when I process things. That's when insights come. That's when new ideas for videos come. That's when I think, oh wait, have I talked about that? And it's not that I deliberately think about that, because I allow myself to truly rest. But it's just that because I allow myself to completely let go and rest, that's when all of that comes in. And so that brings me to the superpowers that you do have. And the first is that you probably are capable of doing a lot in a short amount of time. And you might think that that's not enough right now. But I beg you to to look at that differently. You are maybe trying to force yourself to be productive in a consistent way, and that's just not working for you. So maybe if you allow yourself to do a lot in a short amount of time and then allow yourself a lot of rest, that would fit you so much more. And this is hard because a lot of bosses don't see this in the right way. They don't value you for the work you do. They value you for the hours you put in. And when you have these bursts of energy and bursts of productivity, they might say, oh, well, that's great that you did so much, so then I can expect that every day from you now. That is just completely wrong managing and wrong way of looking at how people work. But I think that's why also a lot of fearful avoidants, and even more so when they've healed, become an entrepreneur, because then you get to decide how you work, and all of a sudden you are not being paid or valued for the hours that you work, but you are being paid for what you do and what you bring into the world and how much you help people and how much you are of service to other people. And that, for a lot of fearful avoidants, feels more logical, even though they're terrified probably when they start. But it allows you to work in a way that works for you. So I have heard this from a lot of people, that entrepreneurship just fits them more. Then another superpower is that you are probably really good at learning and understanding people, understanding what they need, and giving that to them. And that is just such a beautiful gift to have, to be able to really truly understand people and to give them what they need, even if that's in like an artist kind of way. Of course, that's self-expression, that is very important, but you self-expressing yourself in a true, pure way, without the fears and the limiting beliefs, is a gift to other people, because you are never the only one struggling with whatever you're struggling with. Taylor Swift comes to mind with her songs that she just writes about her own struggles, and see how many people can relate to that, So you are really good at learning and understanding other people, the human psyche, and what people need. You just underestimate yourself, and you underestimate that superpower. A lot of people have no idea what other people need, and they just do things because they think that's the right thing to do. and then it just kind of falls flat. And that's fine, because failing is fine and you learn from that. But you do have that capability of understanding. That doesn't mean that whatever you do will always work and it will always be a success. It doesn't need to be. Yeah, but that is definitely a superpower, you understanding the human psyche. And then the third one is that you, as a fearful avoidant and also as a healed fearful avoidant, you are able to listen to and follow your intuition. And before you freak out by the word intuition, it is not what your fear brain is telling you, that it's this deep thing inside of you that's going to tell you to do things that you don't want to do. That is not your intuition. As you are healing, so what you're doing right now, watching these videos, you are already following your intuition. You are following it way more than you probably think, and it is way more to the surface than you think. So when you've healed, you will be able to kind of listen to yourself way easier without all of the fears and all of the resistance around that and the triggers around that. So doing that will lead you to do whatever feels natural for you, to you, and therefore will help other people the most. Because I truly believe that everybody has a gift inside of them that, will impact the world one way or another. And that doesn't mean that you have to be Taylor Swift and, perform in stadiums. But it does mean that you being you is way more than enough. When I started this business, I had absolutely no idea it would take me to where I am now. And I am so super grateful that I did this and I followed it, even though I was so afraid of helping people because I was afraid of making mistakes and people being angry with me. But the fire to help that one person that was laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, having all these thoughts and all these feelings that they were so scared of and not knowing what was going on, that fire has always been way stronger than, or not way, but it has been stronger than the fears and the things that kept me from, wanting to do this. So yeah, being a healed fearful avoidant, it just comes with so many gifts and so many superpowers. And what I wish for you is to allow yourself to create a life that is true to you as you are. And that doesn't mean that when you are a healed fearful avoidant that you cannot cater to any of the fearful avoidant dynamics. And one of those dynamics is that consistency and stability are just not our natural thing, and that is okay. Again, you will be able to be consistent and stable, but you might just not enjoy it, and you might just enjoy working in this way, just having these bursts of energy and doing a lot and then having a lot of rest. And that is really truly okay. You are worthy of working in a way that suits you. So either you can find a job because they really are there that will reward you for what you do and who you are instead of the hours that you kind of give away, or you may go the entrepreneur route. That is totally up to you. Obviously, I'm not giving any advice or telling you to do anything. But I just want you to know that if you have difficulty with the 9 to 5, that is not weird. You are not weird. You are not broken. It might be that you're just suppressing your superpowers. And suppressing a superpower is just hard. If you suppress a really big beach ball underwater, that's hard because there's a lot of air in that and it just wants to pop up. And the same is with your superpowers. The bigger they are, the harder it is to suppress them and the more difficulty you will have and the more struggle you will have. So if any of this kind of rings a bell or feels familiar, then do with that whatever you feel like doing with that. I really hope this was valuable. This is a little bit different than the other videos, but I'm always looking for more ways to help you and to help you understand yourself. So I really hope this was valuable. Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you're an entrepreneur or not, because I'm always curious. And yeah, as always, I am happy you are here because you are valuable to the world as you are, in whatever comes natural and most effortless to you. And I will see you in the next one.
Healed and Happy is a tailor made online program where me and my team personally guide you through healing the roots of a fearful avoidant attachment style.